If I had $1 for every California license plate I see in this town, I might not have to do real estate anymore. But look, in all seriousness, we have a lot of people move to Central Oregon and Bend from California, and there's a reason for it. But I wish there were things that my California clients would have known before they packed up the U-Haul and moved here. Yeah, this is that video. Hey, I'm Sarah Willis. Welcome back to the Suzanne and Sarah YouTube channel. This is where you come to learn about Bend lifestyle, maybe some investing topics, but what you should also know is that we are licensed Oregon real estate agents or real estate brokers. We serve buyers who are relocating here, we serve investors, we serve sellers, and we have a network far beyond here in Central Oregon, and we love to connect people and place people in places that they really want to be. So if you're thinking about a move, if you are visiting here, if you're thinking about visiting here, if you're researching moving here, we want to have a conversation with you, and we hope you find some value in this video. We just want to help understand what it looks and maybe feels a little bit like to live, work, play in Central Oregon before you get here, and help you decide whether this is the right place. So let's get into it with our next video. Let's talk about why people from California might even consider moving to Bend. And I would say the main things that we hear that are pushing them out are the cost of living, the density, maybe the politics, and the fast pace of life that's happening for them in California. And then the pull factors, things that are drawing them here to Central Oregon, are most certainly the outdoor access, the community, the fact that we're a city of 100 to 120,000, but you can still run into people that you know on accident on a pretty regular basis, and the value that they get, the amount of home that they can buy for their money relative to what they're used to, and also that this is a work from home or a remote work mecca. I think the thing that translates well for people moving to Bend from California is the fact that a lot of people here in Central Oregon have entrepreneurial mindsets. It just fits Bend culture. People are trying to figure out how to spend as little amount of time behind a screen and at a desk and as much time outside as possible. So think small businesses, tech that you can do remotely, people who are just self-employed, and first and foremost, people that are trying to make it work on their own. People who are able to figure out a way to do remote first work are able to make it here. Also, I think people who are used to paying for quality is another single demographic that's here. Bend has quality, it's just at a smaller scale in terms of just selection. If you were doing outdoorsy things in California, you'll do more of those things here. Access is closer, there's less competition, and I would say it's probably a more diverse set of outdoor things that you can do at any time of year as well. We've even had clients make it work where they're commuting to a job further away, spending a couple days a week there at that job, and then coming back to Bend to spend their off time with their family. It matters that much to them. So it can work for all demographics, but I'm not sure that last one is sustainable. Maybe one thing that doesn't translate is something really as simple as no In-N-Out burger. And maybe that sounds like a joke, but it comes up. And I think it signals a bigger truth that Bend does not necessarily prioritize chains or convenience. It's less of a priority here, and there's definitely less chains or quick, easy access to convenient foods. Also, traffic is a thing here in Central Oregon, but it's different. Maybe if you're coming from California or coming from really high speed, multi-lane highways and long commutes, but traffic is still annoying here. It's just annoying in a different way. We have fewer ways to get places, so it's a more condensed stop and go bottleneck type annoying, and it happens pretty regularly at different times of day. Winters are still real here. I would say not Tahoe real. We're not getting 10 to 15 feet of snow on a regular basis in any given winter, but ice is certainly an issue. Black ice, having to travel over passes to get to bigger cities, so you can become an island in the winter, and definitely shorter days, so less daylight is a real issue. And in some seasons, like people might say it never snows here, but it does. The day-to-day pace here is slower, and for real slower. So if you're someone who tends to be a fast driver, is in a rush to get places, is a fast talker, the pace of life here and just getting from point A to point B might become a shock. I would say dining and restaurants here, the variety is difficult, and also just there's not a community to support a ton of 5-star restaurants. So it's good and it's continuously changing, and I would say the city is changing in such a way where we're starting to be able to support more variety and higher caliber restaurants. I would just make sure that you manage that expectation early and just have that as something that you plan into your vacations for other places, and just learn what works for you. Here is the part that nobody puts in the relocation guide. Let's talk about taxes and the financial reality. So here in Oregon, the top rate right now in July of 2026 is 9.9%, and California is 13.3%. But Oregon's brackets hit sooner. So at $100,000 income, Oregon residents actually pay more in state income tax than California residents do. And this is actually the opposite of what most people assume. So I just want to make sure that it's flagged early for you. Other tax thing is sales tax. Oregon has 0% sales tax, and you don't realize how much that affects your life until you live with it for a while, and then you go to another state and suddenly you're paying a premium for things. And if you're moving from California, the combined rate, depending on the county or city, is anywhere between 7.25% and 11.25%. So this is where Oregon's real savings for living here actually shows up, like the difference between buying a car, just going out to eat. It's a huge difference. Housing obviously is cheaper than the Bay Area or LA. Our housing here is definitely not cheap by national standards. We are still one of the most expensive cities to live in, but it sure beats some of the more popular areas that people are moving from in California. So with property taxes, gone, but the thing that most people moving from California don't realize or understand is that Oregon assesses their property taxes differently than California does. Your property tax doesn't just go up automatically upon the sale of a house and the purchase price increasing. Oregon's measure 50 caps the annual assessed value rather than doing that reset at purchase. There is a fixed amount that Oregon is allowed to increase your taxes from year to year, but it's closer to 3% every year. And of course, there can be bigger assessments. So when we have clients that are really into their spreadsheets and really into their budgeting, we tell people to plug in an approximate 4% for their underwriting of their deal per year in terms of property taxes going up at any given time. What I tell our California clients that we talk to that are considering a move to Central Oregon right now is do a test trip. And I would even do a long test trip. Take 2 weeks and do it in a non-summer month first. Winter, one of the shoulder seasons here, which are also beautiful, will tell you the truth about what it's like to live here faster than visiting in our beautiful peak sunny summer months like July or August. And then, of course, we have to tell everybody this, but get pre-approved before you fall in love with a house in Bend. We don't have a lot of inventory. When the good ones come on the market, they usually go quickly, and make sure that your taste align with your budget and the location that you want to live. Also, don't underestimate smoke season. Hopefully this isn't the first time you're hearing about this if you've been researching Central Oregon, but if you have any hint of asthma, this is probably not the place for you. But getting wildfires here in Central Oregon is a real risk that you have to calculate for in terms of your health, your time outside, even down to your insurance costs these days. And we're usually looking at smoke at least at some point between July and September every year. Because our specialty is working with people who are invested in lifestyle and are usually moving or looking from out of state, we work with a lot of people who buy properties sight unseen, who have probably done this before in some capacity. This isn't their first rodeo. And usually those people are planners in some capacity. And maybe that's why you're watching this video. You are the type of people that we work well with, that we can get things done with. So we would love to have a conversation with you to learn more about where you're coming from, what it is that you're looking for, and hopefully reflect back to you some deeper understanding of what to expect here, whether it's the right place for you or not, and help you start on that journey towards buying your home in Central Oregon.